The final week of the Giro begins in Switzerland. Despite its short 113 kilometers, the Bellinzona-Cari stage is a selective one, demanding focus and commitment. It's certainly not a stage for sprinters. Just as Sunday stage into Milan proved unexpectedly when an incredible breakaway launched just 4 kilometers after the start went all the way to the finish. Norway's Fredrik Vernes took the win, leaving his 3 Italian breakaway companions
I understood that we could make it with about 5 kilometers to go.
Empty-handed. There are no changes in the general classification. Vingegaard, clearly emotional as he wears the Maglia Rosa for the first time, controlled the race and maintained his advantage. 2 minutes and 26 seconds over Eulalio and 2 minutes and 50 seconds over Gall.
I think it's a short, intense stage, and after the rest day, I think it would be good for me to find the rhythm again.
After an opening section of gentle climbing, the riders enter a 22-kilometer circuit to be repeated twice, featuring 2 consecutive climbs. The second, Leontica, is particularly demanding. Leaving the circuit, the route continues up the Gotthard Valley, steadily climbing towards Faido, where the final ascent begins. 12 kilometers at an average gradient of 8%, with ramps up to 13% and a total elevation gain of 3,000 meters. This is terrain for the climbers to attack and an opportunity for the Maglia Rosa, should he choose to extend his lead.
In this week we can have more chance. For sure on the plane we still have few situations where we can try to win the stage. Yeah, I think it's gonna be another good day.
Stages this tough are an impossible test for sprinters who face a very demanding week ahead. But for those who already claimed 2 stage victories in this Giro, defending the Ciclamino jersey becomes extra motivation to push beyond their limits.
The day is really short, so we expect that the stage will go really fast. For me, there is no really big goal to expect. Trying to have a look on Narvaez to make sure that it don't take too many points of advantage on this type of stage, but for the rest, I'll just try to be in the time limit.
32 degrees at the start in Bellinzona. Once again, the heat will be a key factor today. The pace is surging very fast, with a group of 11 riders quickly gaining ground and launching the first real move of the day. Their advantage over the peloton settled at around 30 seconds. The best placed rider on general classification among the leaders is Markel Bellocchi, who started the day in 18th place, 11 minutes and 33 seconds behind Vingegaard. Among the most active riders setting the pace at the front of the peloton is Jonathan Milan. Annieta accelerates and tries to bridge across to the breakaway on his own. His move splits the peloton into 2 groups. One manages to reach the leaders while the other is left chasing. The start of the first climb of the day, 4.7 kilometers long with 260 meters of elevation gain and an average gradient of 5.5%, reshuffles the situation once again as the peloton brings the breakaway back. Many riders begin to struggle and lose contact. Ciccone pushes at the front but finds no cooperation, so he rises out of the saddle, attacks, and takes the point at the first King of the Mountains at Ludiano, ahead of Rubio and Harper.
Giulio Ciccone goes off in search of those 9 King of the Mountains points to add to his tally.
The action continues and a new group of 12 riders forms at the front, now leading the race with an advantage of around 30 seconds over the chasers. When the second climb begins, the Pink Jerseys team takes control and sets the pace at the front of the peloton. At the top of the Leontica climb, we have the second King of the Mountains sprint of the day. Once again, it's Ciccone who crosses first ahead of Rubio. Ciccone is highly motivated today. He keeps pushing and goes solo on the descent. At the start of the second ascent of Torre, he's joined by Harper, Narvaez, Rubio and Ulisi. The peloton is chasing with Visma Lease bike controlling the pace. At the third King of the Mountains, Ciccone attacks again ahead of Rubio, Harper and Narvaez.
Ciccone slipped to the back of this 5-rider group and opens up his sprints. Will Rubio try to go with him?
With 36 points collected today, the rider from Abruzzo now moves into second place in the mountains classification, 50 points behind the leader Jonas Vingegaard. With 50 kilometers to go, the second descent of Leontica begins, with the 5 breakaway riders closely controlled by the peloton, which is not allowing the gap to grow. Rubio tries to anticipate Ciccone at the KOM, launching from distance, but the move is unsuccessful. The Italian stays on his wheel along with Narvaez and Harper, then overtakes him. Ciccone has now reduced his deficit to Vingegaard in the mountains classification to 32 points.
So it's going to be Ciccone again and Rubio again in second position, then Narvaez and Chris Harper also on this. So yet extra 18 points for Ciccone.
Ulisi loses contact with the leaders, who are now down to 4. The peloton is chasing at 1 minute and 40 seconds. At the intermediate sprint, they pass in this order: Narvaez, Rubio, Harper, Ciccone and Ulisi. The peloton's gap is now 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Narvaez is having an outstanding Giro and is now just 2 points behind Paul Manier's cyclamen jersey in the points classification. With 25 kilometers to go, the road begins to rise slightly. First, the ever-generous Narvaez is dropped, and then Ciccone. Up front now it's Harper and Rubio, but the peloton is much closer, just 45 seconds behind. Harper drops Rubio and passes first under the Red Bull kilometer banner. The final climb begins. At the front, Red Bull Bora Hans Grohe sets the pace. But incredibly, it's Pellizzari who cannot hold the rhythm of his teammates. They ease slightly, but it's too late. Giulio Pellizzari is in crisis, completely cracked, struggling badly on the climb. With 9 kilometers to go, the peloton catches Harper. From the bunch, the white jersey Eulalia and O'Connor, 2nd and 18th overall, are dropped. At the front, the yellow jerseys of Visma Lease bike take control, with the ever-generous David Pinganzoli pacing for team leader Vingegaard.
He's locked in the back of that group on the wheel of Jai Hindley, and Thymen Arensman moves past him, and Bernal's dropped now. And Vingegaard goes off the pace of Pinganzoli. This time it's 6.6 kilometers to go. Felix Gall goes with the Maglia Rosa, and then he sits down, and it's the same old story.
The pace is brutal and 7 riders are dropped. Then Vingegaard makes his move. Felix Gall chooses not even to try to follow the Dane's acceleration. The climb is still very long and he chases at around 20 seconds. Now it's a fight only for second place. Vingegaard is in a race of his own. Meanwhile, reports come in from the peloton that Eulalia is in difficulty.
Vingegaard comes to the top of Crédit in Switzerland in pink. A dominant display, an authoritative display. Jonas Vingegaard is the best rider in this Giro d'Italia and no one should doubt it. Brilliance from Vingegaard.
In the chasing group, Arensman accelerates. The Dutch riders followed by Gall and Hindley. Up front on the day of King Frederick X of Denmark's 58th birthday.
We wanted to try to win in the pink jersey, and it can also go wrong, so we chose the first option to do it, because if we would fail, then we would have another one as well.
The Giro d'Italia crowns its absolute ruler, Jonas Vingegaard. He also breaks the climbing record, kisses the handlebars and signs off on yet another extraordinary feat. Felix Gall finishes second at 1 minute 9 seconds, ahead of Arensman at 1:11 and G at 1:14. For the first time in Giro history, the same top 3 finish has occurred in 3 stages. At Blockhouse, Biela and Galli, the order was Vingegaard, Gall and Hindley. In the general classification, the pink jersey extends his lead. 4:03 over Gall, 4:27 over Arensman, 5 over Hindley and 5:40 over Eulalia. Tomorrow's 17th stage offers a solid test for the peloton ahead of the Dolomites. The route runs from Cassano d'Adda to Andalo, over 202 kilometers of rolling terrain. Nothing insurmountable, but far from straightforward. The race begins on flat roads to Lake Iseo, followed by the climbs of Passo dei Tre Termini and the Cocca di Lodrino, before entering the Chiese Valley on a steady, gradual ascent. After Tione di Trento, the road becomes more technical, with narrow carriageways leading to San Lorenzo d'Orsino, where the climb to Molveno and then Andalo begins. At this point, riders must tackle the final ramp, which hides the stage's key difficulty. It starts 4 kilometers from the finish at a 7% gradient and ends just 1300 meters from the line. A profile that should favor a long-range breakaway, while the GC contenders are likely to watch closely and conserve their remaining energy.